where they are deliberately deciding to fence to the forward target. Deliberately deciding. For whatever reason, tactical reason, they are not happy, they're feeling crowded, they don't want to get in too close because every time they get in closer they're getting hit. So they've got to do something. They can't keep doing what they're doing, otherwise they're going to lose this fight. So they've got to come up with something else. So radical change, they decide, I'm going to open the distance. And because we've been working at medium distance, opening the distance to the forward target is a fairly easy thing to do. It's fairly easy to decide what that is going to be. So, on guard. It's really quite easy because at this distance Matt can step and hit, or he can lunge and hit. On guard. That's very easy. Now what I need him to do is to take at least a step back so that he cannot hit me with a step or a lunge, but he can hit my forward target if I come, if I move forward. So he's made a decision which is not too difficult for him to be able to keep that distance. So if we're fencing each other on a piece and he's deciding to keep that distance, it's not too difficult. If he wants to close the distance, he just comes in. It's actually a good tactical manoeuvre as well. Fence at one distance and then all of a sudden you change it and come into medium distance, whack, and take your opponent completely by surprise. But let's go back to forward distance. So we've established what the distance is. So what typically are the strokes that we want to do? We're a lot safer at this distance. Matt can deceive my blade and know he's not going to be hit. Not initially anyway. So it's quite safe for him to deceive the blade and hit outside. He doesn't have to wait till there's blade contact. And unless his technique is really poor, he's not really exposing his forward target. If I was then to close in, for instance, he deceives, hit, he now deceives and just finishes the body. So if I change the distance on him, he goes first. So he can still cope, although his choice is to fence at forward distance. So typically, the stroke might be, he deceives underneath and steps and hits on the outside of my wrist. But I might parry that. So he has to be able to change back into the inside. But I might not parry. But I might parry it. I might parry it for the third time. So he has to then finish. And we can do this exercise forwards and backwards. But forwards at the moment. Bend the elbow when you go underneath. Good. And back. Distance, keep the distance. Good. Elbow. Good. That's it, you got it. Okay. Now obviously we are doing that at a tempo which is maybe a bit higher than you would teach somebody who's trying to learn how to do them. If you were teaching somebody from scratch to work at this distance, the action would be on the spot. So all I want Matt to do is deceive and hit. Nice and slow. I am attacking Matt. After he makes the hit, he steps back. Good. And that allows him room to go back underneath if I parry. He can do the same coming forward. Nice and slowly. Now he must bend his elbow. This guard acts like a piston, so it's going underneath and back.